basically where she makes fun of herself, and people are taking this as, Greta isn't actually that serious about what she's doing, which is pretty obvious. Again, um, I could go either way. Let's watch it.
So there I was, barbecue sauce on my titties. Oh, I'm so sorry. How dare you! You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet.
So she's making fun of herself. I don't know what the big deal is. You have a problem. You call this girl fake and that she doesn't know what she's talking about, and which is true. She doesn't know what she's talking about, and they pumped her out there to try to be somebody who pulls on your heartstrings, but then she doesn't take herself seriously, and then you're just like, how dare she not take herself seriously, Eric? I think it's the whole adage that conservative people can't take a joke in some instances, and they want to take everybody down, even though they desperately want to be part of that culture. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's you got to keep that same energy, right? Like, if you think she is completely fake and phony, and then she makes a joke about what she said a couple of years ago, then yeah, that's par for the course. It makes perfect sense. So, unfortunately, I think, yeah, I mean, the joke is on you, right? Like, right? Isn't that what was the phrase that was she's laughing at you all or something that was
Greta Thunberg laughing at you all.
Yeah. So, correct. She's I'm assuming fairly wealthy at this point for basically skipping class. So, in this strange world that we live in, Greta takes the W. So, Bobby Althoff takes a W because we're talking about how bad her comedy may or may not be. Greta Thunberg takes the W because the joke was on you the entire time, just like the big boob teacher, just like the rugby ma'am from last week. Meanwhile, a guy like Ben Bankes may or may not take a W, right? Like, they're going to put him through the ringer. And as much as I don't follow Ben Bankes' content, like, he seems to at least put in actual work to be a comedian, but is he reaping the benefits that these other personalities are getting for? I mean, it's absolutely clown world, backwards, bizarro, upside down nonsense. Like, a guy can work for years, taking actual risk, putting together actual shows when the government is threatening to arrest people, and get nothing from it, while a girl, a young woman who just turns 18 and is famous for skipping class, is going to be hugely rich and famous. I mean, we reached the peak, bro.
I think what's monetizable now is lying. And it's not lying to people's faces. It's pretending like you're doing something real and it's actually based on a lie, which it has been for a long time. If you think about how television and everything, reality TV is work.
Acting.
But in the sense where people think it's real, I mean, like, how the reality shows, and one comes to mind where it was called Lagoon. I think it was Laguna Beach, but the one after that, The Hills. It was a teen show when we were younger, Eric. Very white kid show, and everybody went crazy about it. It was a drama, and like the characters were crazy, and they hate each other, and they were real. They were just rich kids from California somewhere, and they were nuts because their privilege went to their head before privilege was a buzzword. But it turns out that they were acting the whole time. Nobody really knew that, and
and one of them became a political influencer.
Yeah, and I think Spencer Pratt is one of the greatest actors of all time, because he had millions of teenagers across the world thinking that he was a psychopath, him and his wife. So that's what happened with that. That was pretending that something was real, and it got extremely popular. Greta pretends that she's an actual activist, and that gets her lots of attention. Pretending that you're something now is how you get the clicks, the monetization, pretending that you created a commotion,
versus being an actual comedian, or
exactly. It pays to deceive. It pays to deceive And then once you got your footing, once you've gotten that break, that viral moment, then you can sort of do what you want. Like this other girl we were talking about, the Bobby Hill slash Althoff there. She was doing what she was doing. Just there's 100,000 versions of her, if not more, probably a few million. And then she gets her break with Drake, and now all of a sudden she's doing what she wants to do, which is a comedian. So she was pretending this whole time that she wanted to do, like she was using whatever platform she's got there to push her, slut content. Sorry to tell you. And then it just turns into, oh, I'm a comedian now because probably this is what I really wanted to be, was a podcaster, which is what a lot of people want to do. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then you know, you just fake it till you make it. It's the old saying. So what?
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. This is a little bit off track, but since we have dabbled in the hills and Laguna Beach, could that show? Could we even get remotely close to making that show today? Because, like you said, their privilege back in 2004 or whatever went to their head. But would it just be considered just plain old white privilege today, and it would never happen? I mean, I don't even know what's like. Does T? I mean, obviously TV still exists, but like,
I think it
what's
could
in
work.
that sector? What's in that sector now? Like,
Oh,
it's all just YouTubers.
it's all the dating shows. Um it's all the sex island shows, the dating shows where they like have all these people
Yeah,
and
but are
they're supposed to be in relationships. It's all them like pretending like they're there to find love still, but they've done it in a way now where it's like
is that how Leo got famous?
his is the Bachelorette. Yeah, but this is a little bit more advanced because these are people who are pretending to be in relationships. So they come on there and it's like they're doing this thing, and then it turns out actually we didn't want to be like we're cheating. There has to be this thing that hooks people in, and being just on a reality show for dating isn't enough anymore. It has to be like that you're cheating, so it's taboo, or you're doing something else. I think we could pull off a current day whatever it was called, The Hills today, the same way, in pretending that these people are so white privileged. That would be the focus, not that which it was back in the day where Spencer's crazy and his girlfriend's controlling and he's controlling of her and she hates her friends and all this stuff. Today, Eric, it would be Andrew says goes out and he pushes his way to the front of the line because he's white and he knows he's rich and famous, and he's probably just like, yeah, but I'm more famous than you, and like to be honest, nobody really cares what you have to think. And he says it to a group of black people, and then people are watching. They're like, oh my god, can you believe this guy? He actually thinks that he is better than people and he admits he has white privilege and he uses it to his advantage. That's where the outrage angle would be.
Where I'm genuinely curious here. I mean, where is it? That's
Take
on
some
Netflix
notes.
now, though. Like, where is that coming from? Like,
That's gonna
where
be
not
on
where's
our
it coming
YouTube.
from? No, but like those shows, like it's Netflix now, or I mean, does anybody actually turn on the TV and change the channel anymore? Like,
no, those are the TLCs and the A&Es, Eric.
So there's somebody still watching that stuff.
90 Day Fiance, that's the other thing. See, it has to come from this genuine angle now.
But logistically, I get what you're saying, but where are people even tuning into that? How does that even
on the TV or on an app that's owned by the actual channel? Or they're just, a lot of these TV shows get memed into oblivion, and then these girls say, hey, I want to check this out. So they might download it. I'm sure they lose tons of money downloading it, but it's much easier to find the places that are uploading your shows these days, and then either taking it down or getting a piece of the action.
90 Day, that's hugely popular.
Yes, it is.
That's one that I couldn't name one person off the show, but I can name 2 or 3 people that I know that actually have stake in this, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, and the angle now is, they're looking for love. They want to do this, and that's the side story. We're doing it for good reasons, and then all the insanity ensues after that. It could still be entirely acting. We don't know, but that's what you have to do, is you have to find out how to hook people in to this reality by getting them to bypass something. If we bypass the fact that they're in a relationship and they're actually getting married for love. There's also one called Married at First Sight. Have you heard of this one? Where people literally get married without meeting each other?
I think I have heard of that.
So let's get back to Greta here. She was, she said she was retiring from activism, but she got arrested she couldn't help herself. Maybe it was too close to home. In Malmo, Sweden, on Monday, just hours, a local court fined her for disobeying a police order during protests last month. So she's just going on her streak of getting arrested. And if you don't believe me, go back and check. She said that she's not going to be doing as much activism now that she's graduated. But clearly, when the opportunity presents itself, Greta's going to throw herself on the pavement. Like, how much of it? Like, let's say you've got like 100 grand in the bank, which she might, even 50 grand. How much is this upwards of $1,000 fine going to cost you versus the publicity she's going to get from doing this?
Så, kan jag ta tag i dig?
Well, she's smiling, Eric. She's smiling and she's dragging her feet. Like, it's so pathetic.
Så la den upp. Perfekt.
Ja, det är klart att det får man ha på sig. Det är svinbra. Så då sätter vi det på fritt där.
Why does she have the body of a teenage skater boy, Eric? But she's seeing these stop oil protesters, and she's like, "Shit, that stuff looks easy. I'm gonna go sit in the middle of a road and then get dragged off." She's all limp while she's smiling. She's like, "This is money coming in," and she's getting dragged off. You can't see my arms. Hold on. She's limp. She's getting dragged, and she's thinking about how much publicity this is going to get her. Meanwhile, she's got her tucked-in T-shirt with her sleeve rolled up like she's got a pack of smokes in there. I mean, come on. It doesn't get any easier than this for Greta, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm genuinely curious, and we don't, maybe this is something that will take more deep dive research, but how is she monetizing this? Like, I mean, who how is it like?
Should we try to find that out?
I don't know, but also, so yeah, how is she like realistically? How is she monetizing this? But secondly, this is it's quite obvious that this no longer has. I mean, obviously, climate change, which and now YouTube, of course, has their little flag. So when you use the words climate change, they put up disclaimers and missing context. Go to Wikipedia. All this, nonsense. So that's obviously a complete hoax, which is arguably, and I think I've mentioned this before, is arguably more manipulative and more deceitful and more evil, just plainly, than the gender ideology, because the goalpost can move indefinitely. Forever, right? We've seen it with ozone layer, global warming, global heating, climate change, climate crisis. I think Paul Joseph Watson did a pretty good video recently about global boiling, they call it now. I mean, it's just through the roof. The goalpost can move forever, which isn't the same. As much as the gender activists and the gender ideologues want to continue to move the goalpost, we all know, even they know, that theirs is coming to an end. They're going to hit a wall, and there's going to be nothing more you can do, right? So it was just, gay and bi and trans and then, but they're going to hit a wall, right? Like, that much is true. The climate people can do this for decades and just keep changing that. Keep claiming that the science is evolving. So I said all that to say, how is she actually monetizing this? And B, it's obviously not about climate change anymore. So it is about the monetization. I'm just genuinely curious as to how this is actually being monetized, because it's got nothing to do with climate anymore. And if it did, that would still be fake also. So it doesn't even matter.
Well, according to this website, The Market Realist, she's getting it from a lot of prizes she wins. So first thing, she had a book come out earlier this year. I had no idea. From Penguin Press. That's probably a couple of $100,000 she got. That's the number one printing company. Jordan Peterson's under them, for example. Terrible company in terms of, ESG stuff. And then they said that she gets all these prizes, which come with monetary sums, but she gives them away. So there was one. She got $100,000 prize from UNICEF, or she got an award I don't know where it says. For example, UNICEF announced that Thunberg would donate $100,000 award from her NGO Human Act to campaign supporting child rights during the COVID child
What
rights, which means
does?
transgender stuff, of course. What other child rights are there?
Well, no,
Tell me
that's what
more.
I'm saying. That phrase is fake.
Exactly. So Thunberg pledged to Twitter to donate 1.14 million of prize money, not the prize money, from an inaugural Gulbenkian Prize for Humanity. Humanity, not humanity. We'll find out how much of that is worth in total. My guess, Eric, it's 1 million euros, so probably a bit more than 1.14 million. My guess, Eric, is that her parents run a nonprofit of some kind, and they put the money into that, which
A
probably pays
non-profit.
exactly, which pays them a salary. Because I don't know if people understand that nonprofits, literally all they have to do is account for all their money. That doesn't mean they don't make money, but they have to put it towards something. They just can't take a profit at the end and say, hey, we're giving out bonuses. So a nonprofit can say a person who does marketing or whatever gets 200 grand a year. That's how much we pay them. And then what did we do with our excess money? Well, we did a company retreat or we upgraded our facility. As long as the money is accounted for and is not just done through a bonus system, then that's a nonprofit. So technically, you're not taking profits at the end of the day to just insert into somebody's bank account. So you could say, we're giving this person a raise for this position, that sort of thing. And that's my guess, is that she's got some sort of thing set up where her parents or somebody else's name is on it. And then we're going to give the money to this place, and then they do the donations for us. And even if she's giving $1 million, she's probably doing that over 10 years or something. So it's not just this lump sum, because that would be stupid. It would be stupid, and I don't believe that she's doing it. So I guess she's making money off of it doesn't say that she's donating her money from her book deal. Why would you do that? She probably has appearance fees, Eric. Why would you donate that? The things that she
Wait,
gets publicly paid for, like a prize,
is
she's
this
probably gonna make herself
okay?
look good for that.
Okay. Greta getting an appearance fee is 100% proof. I forget what we were talking about. That there's a market for everything. What organization in their right mind is going to give that woman 1 red cent to show up at their event? That is proof that people
The UN
for anything. You want a 19-year-old girl who could barely put together a sentence, who was made famous for skipping class? You're going to pay her to show up at your event?
Turn it up, Jordan.